guys, thanks for tuning in to my drive-by. It's 87 degrees. I'm on the actually I'm on US 41. Sorry, I'm so used to being on the I-75. I'm going southbound towards Port Charlotte, Florida. And it is the 22nd of October 2014 right now, about 3:10 in the afternoon. And I wanted to bring up a few subjects in the little discussion. And my main discussion today I wanted to bring up is why people kill themselves, or why you always hear these shootouts that come up. They just had one in Port Charlotte in the trailer park. There was one before in Port Charlotte where a guy went on a domestic. He went in there and the guy killed the police officer and then he killed himself. And there's many, many cases you hear of this all the time, killing. Why somebody does that? Well, a big portion of it you could say is mental disease. A lot of people will say that, but people have to really look at today's society and how we live, and stressors in the environment. And I guess it depends. If you were beat when you were little a lot, you're pretty rough, and you can handle just about anything. Chances are you might not crack. But if you're not, and you're a kind of person that's very sensitive, chances are you could maybe crack quicker. And normally when you have these shooting events, whether it's in school, where it is, these people have been showing signs for years. A lot of it's just emotional, and a stressor can trigger it. So let's say somebody always is making fun of a kid, and the kid keeps coming to school, they're making fun of him, he's ostracized, pushed out of the circle, their peer group circle, and he thinks he's different. He might think he's ugly, or she might think she's ugly, and he keeps getting pushed, and then one day they just crack. They just snap. They say, well, they might say one of two things: I'm going to end it all, and I'm going to take some people with me, or I'm just going to go berserk and get back at the people, and they're not thinking about it in their life. So, they'll maybe plan it, but most of the times it's sporadic. And that's why you see a lot of these shootouts. I mean, there's just so much pressure that these people in society have on them. I'm not saying it's good, but, the criminal justice system doesn't help any at all. The criminal justice system, number one, was supposed to just be to help people, rehabilitate them. But it really, when you look at it, it really is a money-making organization. And you can think of it this way: most people in prison are poor, black, Latino, and white. They're poor. They don't have a lot of money. They're in there a lot of times for minor things. They got pulled over with some pot. Their registration on their car was expired. They stole something from this department store or something. And they're in there waiting for court dates because they have no money. But, you look at both of that. You look at those people in there are supplying jobs for the correctional guards. Yes. And it's sorry to say it's sick. Because what happens, the more prisoners you have, the more prisons you have. The more prisons you have, the more companies have to order food and clothes and clean and guns and ammunition and more electricity and more correctional guards. And they hire more correctional guards. And that's the way it is. Our whole legal system, and also more judges have jobs, more lawyers have jobs, and the bail bondsmen, I mean, they're really a good thing to have because they'll get you out of jail, but they're making money hand over fist. Some of these bail bondsman places got 10 or 12 locations, and really all they do is bond somebody out. Granted, they're using their money to bond somebody out, and if the guy doesn't go back to court, they may lose their money. I understand that, but 99% of the people do go back to court. Because most of those bond guys get, white collar crime. They're not really getting really big drug guys that are on narcotics that aren't reliable. They usually don't take those cases. They'll take maybe people have house, have property, community person that's going to go back and get it taken care of. But most of the time, you have to look at this, a whole industry of money, and it's a big money-making organization. That's why in one of my videos I talked about Charlie Crist for Florida governor, and I really think, and I'm just bringing this up, I think he would be good because the thing is, Charlie Crist wants anybody that's a non-violent felon He wants to release him from prison and expunge the records, and I really think that should happen. Just because somebody got caught with a little pot in his car, or maybe he sold a little drugs, or maybe he got caught for stealing something from the store, or a DWI, or had a car accident or something like that, and somebody died. Those things, I do not think the person should be a convicted felon, get a criminal record, and be barred from voting, owning guns, and for the rest of his life had that stigmatism follow him, because, we are making more people who are unemployable. And then if you're unemployable, you still got to eat when you get out of prison. Okay? So what did he do? Go on welfare, or does he steal? Or does he go back to the life of crime that he had? Chances are probably 80% of the time they go back to the life of crime they had, because that's all they could do. Nobody will hire him. Unless he's very smart and he can start his own business, and not everybody can. Because if everybody had their own business, nobody would be working, right? But, you're looking at that aspect. So that's why I think he would be good. I think he also wants to raise the minimum wage so people have a livable minimum wage. And that has very good consequences. And it's not going to make everybody get laid off either. In another video, I can tell you that. But why? But really, the legal justice system needs to be revamped. They really need to take a hard look. I mean, there is some organizations that will help you if you got into trouble. But bottom line, unless you're a drug addict, you're not going to get much leniency from the court. So if you're like addicted to drugs or a drug addict, they usually will put you on some kind of probation and get you in treatment and get you taken care of. But if you're a clean-thinking, straight-thinking person that did a crime that, is sorry for it, you go to jail, or you get a big fine, or you get the criminal charge. And in Florida, you don't want to screw around, because you'll get it. I mean, over here in Florida, they don't mess around like the other states. So, but that's my take on criminal justice system in the United States, and it's overall, it's supporting a very big network of money. Follow the money, and I'll give you a scenario. If you get arrested, okay, you get a charge that says you were arrested. Let's say it was something for 300 or over, or it's a felony. Okay, so you get arrested for a felony, and then the friggin' you got to pay you got to pay the lawyer, the bail bondsman to get out of court. You got to put a retainer for a lawyer, and if you go to court, you got to pay more money for the lawyer. And then if you have a mugshot on the internet, you got to remove the mugshot, try to rebuild your reputation, and you still have that criminal. Then you have to probably pay a lawyer if it's something where it can be removed to expunge it, and it might cost a few $1,000s. So you are getting screwed all the way around. And the only one making money are all the people that are doing that to you. And the criminal doesn't have any money already, and they're taking more money from somebody that has no money. And if they don't have no money, they go to jail. So that makes no sense at all. But if you have a lot of money, you can get off. You pay your fine and you walk. So if you're going to do a crime, make sure you have about $100,000 put aside so you can pay the fine. If it's a big fine, $1 million, have $1 million. Save some of that money if you're doing a crime. Put it in your pocket to get out of jail. But thanks a lot, and that is just my take on it. I want to see what your take on it is. But really, the criminal injustice in the United States is the criminals that are getting convicted of these crimes have to pay all this fines and stuff, and they don't have the money. And anybody out there that really truly thinks that they're above being arrested for something are highly mistaken. It can happen to anybody out there, especially the people with the gun channels. All you got to do is on a YouTube channel, show something where somebody goes out, show how to modify a gun or something, right? And somebody goes out and does that modification and something happens to them, believe me, a good lawyer could take you apart. Especially, they're not going to take you apart if you got no money, but if you have a big channel like FBS Russia had or something, or some of these real big guys, and you did something, believe me, they could sue you for millions, and you'd be out of business in a day. So be careful also with content you put on the internet, because if somebody does that, they may really have a problem. And I'll do a separate video on that too. But thanks a lot for tuning in. Have a great day. I hope everybody is doing great. Please subscribe, and thanks for tuning to my drive-by video. Thanks.